What I'm going to share with you in this video is basically how I analyze my trade. What I basically do is that I go to the higher time frame and understand the price action on the higher time frame and then execute on the lower time frame. Now I'm going to be sharing with you live trades or live example in this video. But before going to that, if you're seeing me for the first time, my name is Divine, and what I basically do on this channel is document how I trade and as well show you the mindset behind our strategies. If you're not something like this, I want you to smash that subscribe button. I'll be right back.
Now, I analyzed this trade with my students this morning, and we were able to make this profit during the NFP news. And this is how much I made from this trade. I'm going to show you how we're able to arrive to this trade entry, how we're able to get our stop loss, and as well how we're able to get our take profits. I'm going to be showing you step by step in this video, and this is basically how I analyze my trade. Now, the first thing is to go to the daily time frame and simply understand what price is doing on daily time frame. Is price going to the upside or price is going to the downside? Then use what price is doing on daily time frame and execute on the lower time frame. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clear all of these things and then proceed to the daily time frame. Now, on daily time frame, you want to simply understand where price is going to. Is it going to the upside or is it going to the downside? If it's going to the upside, at what point is it going from? And if it's going to the downside, how is it going? Now, the first you want to understand is that you want to simply understand where price is going to by simply identifying that this point here is a consolidation phase, and most likely the trend is in an uptrend. This is the trend. Price is simply in an uptrend, right? And this is support. This is the resistance. Now you want to interpret what price is doing at every point of support and at every point of resistance. Now, mainly looking at this stuff now, mainly looking at it here, you can clearly see that at every point of resistance, price sells to the support, and at every point of support, price buys to the resistance. So price is simply respecting support and resistance. And if you look from this point, at this resistance level here, price always drop the support. And when price gets the support, it goes to the resistance. So price is basically respecting support and resistance. And currently, at this point here, the resistance has become support. So basically, what price is doing here is that price has changed or the resistance has become support. So basically, what you want to do now is to identify the key levels. And this point where price became resistance or where support, resistance became support, is our first key level. That means this point here is simply our what? First support key level. This is a support key level. And we have gotten our support key level, right? We want to also identify our resistance key level. Now, this current point now is simply our resistance key level. So basically, if you have identified your point of your key levels, you want to only be focusing on what price is doing from these key levels to this other key level. That means from this support key level here to this resistance key level here, what is price doing? That's what you want to know next. And where you want to identify it is simply on the 4 hours time frame by simply understanding the market structure from this key level here to this point here. Now, basically, what you want to do is to know if this key level here is going to break, price is going to break above this key level, or price is going to respect this key level. That's what you want to know. So basically, what I want to go to do now is go to the 4 hours time frame and basically understand what price is doing and how price is doing, so we can know where we're going to take our entry from and possibly know how we're able to get this entry or get this trade here. If you identify the whole price action that will happen from this point to this point here, what you can basically see that at this point here, there was consolidation at this point here. So this point is a point of consolidation, and this simply gives us a sample that this is a rally, a base, and a rally. So rally based rally is simply a demand zone. And if we are to identify another demand zone again in this level, in this trend or in this market structure here, basically see that this point as well too is basically a demand level. So there's a demand here, there's a demand here, and there's a demand here. What how is a demand? A rally, a base, and a rally. Again, another one appeared again, a rally, a base, and a rally. So we are really focused on what price is doing at this demand zone here or these zones here. And what we want to do next is simply refine these zones to become a point of interest. And if we find this zone to become a point of interest, we'll be looking at to take entries from this zone or see what price is doing above this zone to know if this zone is likely going to hold and how price is likely going to hold on that zone. So basically what I'm going to do now is go to the 1 hour time frame and refine these zones. Now if I'm to define these zones, now what it basically look like what it basically look like is this. This point is simply a point of entry, a point of interest. So you want to know what price is likely going to do at this point. The price come to this point. This point is a point of interest, and this point here as well is also a point of interest. So these are basically the point of interest on this pair here, and basically we want to know what price is doing at this key level to know if price is going to come to this point of interest or price is going to fail this point of interest, right? Now this is the point where I was able to get this entry that I entered and make this profit that I made, this area here. Now, once I identified the point of interest and I understood what price was doing at this point here, I knew that price was not going to come directly to this point of interest yet. That price have to still go up to take out liquidity first before price start coming to this point of interest. So having identified what price was doing at this point here on the 15 minutes time frame, that was why I made my entries. And how I was able to identify that was simply understanding liquidity. And so how liquidity works, I was able to identify where liquidity is and use that as an advantage to take my trade. And how was I able to do that? I simply understand I was not having clarity on liquidity on on the 1 hour time frame. Then I switched to the 15 minutes time frame. I switched to the 15 minutes time frame and I was able to identify that when price gave us this point of interest, price induced liquidity at this point here. Price induced liquidity at this point. And when price also induced liquidity at this point, it as well induced liquidity at this point as well too. And now, because I understand how liquidity works, and I understand the concept of liquidity, I was able to take advantage of this price movement here, knowing full well that price have to take out liquidity above this place before price is likely going to come back to this zone for a bigger buy. So how was I able to identify this trade here? When price took out this sell liquidity, I knew that price was likely going to go for the basal liquidity. And where is the basal liquidity? This is an obvious basal liquidity, and this point as well too is also an obvious basal liquidity. Now, when price took out this liquidity here, taking out this one here, and also taking out this trend here, I took advantage of these movements here and switched down to 5 minutes time frame for an entry. So basically, when price swept this liquidity here, I was looking for an entry at this zone here. And how was I able to identify this entry? I was focused on what price was basically doing after price took out this liquidity here on the 5 minutes time frame. And now if I switch to the 5 minutes time frame, you likely see that at this point here was a point of ranging phase. That means price was originating at this phase here. And what this means is basically this is a drop, this is a base, and this is a rally. So when price rallied out of this consolidation phase, I knew that price was going to come back to this point for an entry. So I picked an entry from this point here. I picked an entry from this point here and placed my stop loss just below the point where price was consolidating. And my target was fully to target this point here. My target was to target this point here for a 1:2 at this point here, and possibly the full TP 1:3 at this point here. And that was how I was able to achieve that trade. So basically, the reason or how I was able to achieve this trade was simply understanding concept of liquidity and taking advantage of concept of liquidity to take trade. Because I know that price have to make a fake move before price makes an actual move. And that was how I was able to apply that on this particular pair, GPGPY, and was able to make that profit. Now you might want to ask, what is the next move for price on GJ? Now let me remove this our entry here. Now having seen all these patterns at this point here, and price are taking out this whole liquidity at this point. Let me go to the 1 hour time frame so you see it clearer. and price are taking out this whole liquidity at this point here. What I'm expecting price to do right now is the price to come back to this point here, this demand zone here, and either give us a buy. And before we can confirm that, price needs to induce liquidity around this area again to trigger this to trigger this zone here. And how I want price to do it is this: I want price to simply use this place to induce people to buy. That means I want price to sorry. That means I want price to come back to this zone here. With my box. I want price to come back to this zone here and give something like maybe an equal low here, maybe give us a price action and then fall into this zone here and then make the actual move that price wants to really make. So basically, this is going to be my projection for GBP JPY next week. But I just showed you how I was able to make that 150 risk reward on this particular pair yesterday being Friday. And I think that will be all for this video. I'm going to see you in the next one. Peace.